Well, Thanksgiving with the family is supposed to be joyous and happy, but let's be honest, especially around election time, it can get testy and frustrating. It could be even touchier this year, coming off again that contentious election with lots of different political views.
So how can we navigate that come next week? Here to help us answer that question is Dr. Susan Cook, a psychologist based in Brunswick, and you've been here with us before. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me back.
So let's say you're at the family dinner table next week for Thanksgiving. The issue of politics comes up and everyone has a different opinion. How do we deal with that scenario?
Okay. So before you get to the dinner table, okay, it's important, in my view, to think, just not to think about the big, long meaning of Thanksgiving, but to think about just a few words which represent Thanksgiving. Gathering, gratitude, welcoming and being welcomed, and a sense of continuity, because this is something that, you know, every year it happens. So with those words in mind, I think everybody has a responsibility to honor those things. And yes, we have just come off a very contentious year. We don't want to say how long. A long period of time. But we have been here before in this country, right? I know you don't remember this, but in 1972, there was an extremely contentious election, okay? And so it's that way this year. It may not be that way. It's certainly not going to be that way forever. I think that what's very important at a Thanksgiving dinner table is to bring ourselves back to why we're here, why we are gathering. We are gathering out of gratitude. And it's always important to remember, if there are children around, it's really, really important to remember that they are listening and you are passing along the meaning of Thanksgiving to them. You are passing along the meaning of family to them. I'll just say briefly, my 250-page doctoral dissertation at Harvard University was about the meaning of family to children. And one of the questions that I asked kids, first, second, and third graders, who are, you know, again, a fount of wisdom about everything, was, does a family ever stop being a family? And these little kids would struggle to explain to me why that was true. And one of the things they would often reference are holidays. Well, we'll probably always have Thanksgiving together, or we'll have Christmas, or we'll have Kwanzaa. Those are the kinds of things that really imprint upon kids. I may not see these people very much during the year, but they are my family because we get together for Thanksgiving. So there are lots and lots and lots of opportunities to have intense political discussions, we know, okay? Thanksgiving really should be a time to impress upon little kids that we want to gather. And it's a reminder that a family can always be a family. We know families are not always families either. We have high conflict divorces, we have these very tough situations, but it's a chance to remind kids of that.
You know the saying, head things off at the pass. Is
Yes.
it better when you make the invitation to go out, just so you know, we're not talking politics, and we're going to shut you down if you stop talking politics, and let's talk about something more fun, football, the parade, or what we're thankful for?
Yeah. Well, presumably you know the people that are coming, right? And I don't even know that you have to say that ahead of time. I think when you greet them, you know, you can welcome them to your home, obviously. I think that's a good point. That's a good time to talk about it when they actually get there.
Maybe lay some ground rules
Absolutely.
in your house if you're
Some
hosting.
ground rules in the household.
Now, some surveys are showing that, you know, some people are simply saying they're skipping Thanksgiving this year just to avoid the conversation altogether. Do you think that that is a good way to go, or is it not good for your mental health to skip a holiday that maybe you normally love? Or are you setting your own boundaries? What are your thoughts on that decision?
Yeah, if that's where somebody is, that speaks to how painful and difficult this time has been for them, you know? And it has been fearful and many people are struggling and worried about what's going to happen. So if that's a choice they need to make, that's a choice. But again, this is a time of gratitude. And if you can't experience that gratitude with the people that you usually meet with, then I'd recommend find other ways to express your gratitude for what you have, where we are, what we have in this country, what's precious to you. Find another way. We don't want the notion of gratitude to go by the boards.
How about redirecting? Like, let's change the subject.
Yeah, it always depends on who does the redirecting, because sometimes they may not listen to you if you try to redirect. You know, that's not a bad idea. Whether or not that's going to be successful with everybody, you know, that's an open question. I think that, again, coming to the notion of gratitude and setting the tone for the conversation and asking people, what are you grateful for? The other thing is, Thanksgiving can be a wonderful, wonderful time to share family lore. Again, people often don't get together other than at Thanksgiving, and especially when there are kids present. There are great, great family stories that are positive, affirming, that speak to how and why a family is always a family. My father was a great one for sharing family lore at Thanksgiving. Told me wonderful things about my grandparents. He always used to say, your grandmother, who died before I was born, your grandmother always said, do good for evil. Do good for evil. And if he shared that once at the Thanksgiving table, I will bet he pretty much made that an annual. So redirect to family lore.
Okay. Love it. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. I think we always argue about it. Who's going to
Carve
be able
the
to watch the
turkey.
parade, or who's going to watch the football game? That was the
Right.
biggest argument
The
growing up
remote.
ever had.
Who gets the
No,
remote?
we didn't have remotes back then.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
Right.
Thank you
that's
so
right.
much. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.